Good evening, everybody. Dang it's evening. How many times am I going to do this? Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lorcanarama. My co-host is back. Welcome back, Sabrina. The um, She's been out like 2 weeks, haven't you? Or is it just 1 week? Seems like
No, it's been
forever.
11 days. Yeah, almost 2 weeks.
Well, we saw each other in Denver, so that was kind of cool.
We did.
Which, by the way, folks, I dropped the ball on that tonight. I wanted to show a picture. It was a cool picture. It was the first time Sabrina and I had been together, seen each other physically since we started this stream. So this whole time we had never seen each other in life. We had met before, right, at the events, but we started to stream after that. And the great thing about it was we got a selfie with Liam from the Lumineers. So that was Lumineers. Is it Lumineers? Yes,
It's the
Lumineers.
Lumiteers.
I'm having a day today. So so yeah. So yeah, it's a great picture. I wanted to show it, but as all things, I run into the house, get home from work, and run straight in here, and just wasn't ready. So I'm sorry. So, anyways, welcome to the show, folks. If you're joining us in the chat, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that. Today is episode 25. That should be a milestone, right?
It
So
should.
it should be, right? So um, we're going to celebrate it. Hold on. Yay! All right, I just celebrated it. So, okay. So, um, Denver. Like we talked about Denver a little bit last week with Colors Law and Zenulus, who did a wonderful job, by the way. I cannot say enough how much I appreciate those two joining the stream while Sabrina was out. It was just an honor to have them on. It was a great conversation. We talked about Denver, talked about the heroic format. If you haven't seen that episode, go to YouTube, watch episode 24. Just great great information in there. It was a good chat. So tonight, or this evening, or during this show, Sabrina, I want to give her a chance to talk about Pro Play Summit Denver and her experience there. So fire away, Sabrina.
Yeah, so I was only able to play in the main on Saturday. I worked Friday, which was very interesting showing up Saturday and a bunch of people being like, oh, you're here. Because they had seen Toby all day Friday, but not see me. And I was like, yeah, I told him to tell everybody I was here, but I guess that didn't get passed
Man,
along.
he was in his own world Friday. So.
He's always in his own world. I love him, but it's his own world. Saturday I started off. I think I went 4-1, and then I hit some pretty bad matchups in a row. Ironically, I was playing Amber Steel, and it was actually back-to-back Blurple matchups that took me out. Just some really bad draws into Blurple, which is unfortunate. But through the day, I did not play Purple Steel, which was really nice. It was basically the opposite of what happened to me in Vegas. So instead of playing my worst matchups, I played into my better matchups, which made for a much better day for me.
I would say it was
um,
not like Vegas in that you made it past 2 rounds. So.
correct. Which is funny because this was my first like big tournament with my play hub name, which is Ode to Drop, which did
Okay.
get commented on by my round 2 opponent. I played someone from, oh my gosh, what team is that? The team that wears the baseball jerseys,
Oh, that's a lot of
something
names.
City Games. I can't think of what it is. They're like hot pink and blue. I can't think of what it is. He
Duke
was a very
City. It
nice
wasn't
man though.
Duke City, was it?
Duke City. Yeah, Duke
Oh
City.
yeah, from Albuquerque. Yeah.
Yeah, I played a very nice guy from Duke City round 2. He was like, "I like your name." I was like, "Thank you." Came up with it all by myself. I actually played some pretty cool opponents this weekend. I played him round 2. I played one of the bounties round 5, and then I played Dugan round 6. So, quite the lineup of opponents that weekend. But overall, I think as all of our viewers know, the event had some issues. Saturday, the biggest thing was just the gaps. That was
The
like the downtime between rounds when I was like, especially for me. So I'm going to be like honest here. If you're a player that's going to time, you don't care, right? If you're going to time every round and then suddenly you get like 5 or 10 minutes between rounds, you're probably like, this is great. Like, I can actually go to the bathroom or like sit down for 5 minutes. But I play aggro decks. I don't think I've ever gone to time in a Lorcana tournament. So the extra downtime when I had had no coffee that day, I was feeling real
Mhm.
grumpy. You wouldn't have known it. You wouldn't have known it if you
Because
ran
you were
into me
winning.
because I was winning. But I was grumpy.
It's
Um,
I think coming from Fort Worth, like we were flipping rounds like you wouldn't believe in Fort Worth, right? They were I was as a scorekeeper there, I kept them flipping. In Denver,
I mean,
I
things
tried.
happen. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
yeah,
Like,
it was tough. It was there were, let me just put it like this. I've seen a lot of chatter online blaming PPG events, PPG Pro Play games. It
it
wasn't
was not PPG.
it was not them. And they want to blame the play of and it had its issues and and I just it was a perfect storm of events is what happened you know so yeah it was and we were prepared Saturday and in case something happened and that was and it did and but it took time to switch to switch gears and so even though we were as set up as we could be, so that when we had to switch gears, it was as little time as possible spent doing that, even though it was some gap. So um,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I think from like a high level running an event point of view, it was all great. Like the communication was there. I appreciate that when you guys or whoever knew that it was going to take that longer break, that you were like, "Hey, we're going to take a longer break. Go get food. Go do this. Go do
yeah,
that." Like as a player, I appreciated knowing like, "Okay, I have time." Versus ending up just sitting there for half an hour. Like I'd rather know I'm going to be sitting there for half an hour. It's a big difference. And I think ultimately things got back on track pretty well.
yeah,
So like no complaints from that point of view, but as a player, I feel like it would be weird for me to not mention that it happened in my play
yeah,
recap of the weekend.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I was there. I know. I showed this. I didn't show this last week. So one of my fellow judges made a button and gave it to me. Um, I don't know if you guys can see that if it focuses in. It says
Oh
hero.
yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
I like I of all the little trinkets and artifacts I get from events and stuff, I will treasure that one probably more than any other because that was tough. It was tough to have one of my fellow, um, you know, staff members kind of acknowledge, "Hey, I know it was tough for you, but you did a good job." That meant a lot to me. So shout out to Chris. I appreciate it, man. That meant a lot. It was a tough day. That's all I can say. Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday. So I won't say
I think
who,
oh,
but when I came out of the arena, if they're listening, they know. When I came out at the end of the day, I don't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. I ran into someone and they just opened their arms up and they said, "Bring it in," and I didn't know I needed that hug until I got
but
it.
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and I told him, and I told my wife later, and I relayed this to the person. I told my wife, if it had been her, I just would have collapsed into her arms and nuzzled in. But since it wasn't, I kind of avoided that awkwardness. But it was tough, and but I still enjoyed it. And I appreciate the community, as frustrated as many people were. They Some of them just rolled with it. Some of them, I think there's some in every crowd that are going to look for, an excuse as to why they're losing because they got paired wrong or they lost some around or whatever. There's those people are going to exist no matter where you go. But for the folks that were, disappointed, that rolled with the disappointment, a lot of people impressed me, and that's I appreciate that about folks. I did. That's one thing I like about this community. We yeah. I don't want to beat that dead
I
horse, but
agree.
I just I appreciate it that folks like yourself, you're just like, hey, I rolled with it. I appreciate that y'all did this, understood it was wrong. That, yeah. So, so I have a question
No,
for you, though, real
yeah,
quick. You played Amber Steel, right?
I did.
Why? Why?
I don't know. Something about that deck and I, like, as much as I love green purple,
Hmm.
I feel like I play better when I play Amber Steel.
So is it because you? I asked Zen this question last week.
Mhm.
He played Blurple, and I said, "Did you have fun?" And a lot of people have fun for different reasons, right? Somebody in chat said, "Well, winning is fun," you know. So, and that's a totally acceptable, legitimate answer. Some people they don't care about winning; they have fun pulling off certain combos, or they just have fun playing a deck for the sake of playing it, you know. And so I'll ask you this question: like, did you have fun playing that deck?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it because you were winning, or because the deck was fun, or a combination of both?
Honestly, the most fun I had in a round that weekend, I lost. And the least fun I had in a round, both of the rounds that I had the least fun in, I won.
Hmm. Does it have
So
to
I
do
would
with your
say there is not a
opponent?
direct correlation.
Maybe it's your opponent's mood, right? The opponent that you
Yeah,
lost to was happy, right? You know, but the two that you beat, they weren't so happy. So you're just, I'm just getting out of here, is what, you know.
yeah. I played, like I said, I played Dugan round 6 or 7. And we just had a lot of fun. Like we were both pretty much out of it at that point. I think we were both X and 2, so I guess we were potentially fighting for a top 32
Mhm.
spot. Um, had a lot of fun. He made a comment about a card in my deck that I will tell at a later date, but until I perfect what I want to do with the deck, I'm going to keep it to myself.
Okay, fair enough.
The comment has been living rent free in my head since we played.
Okay,
Trying to figure out how to make the adjustment that was suggested.
okay.
Um, but the 2 rounds that were the least fun, one of them was just a person that I could tell was really upset lost, and I'm excited I won, but I hate that somebody else is feeling that, like, that defeat and that letdown at the end of the day, like, especially it was the round right after the lunch break.
Hmm.
So I know that, like, he probably went into that break feeling really good and then went into my matchup probably feeling pretty good. And it just, like, didn't work out for him. And I felt kind of bad, just the way he walked away from that matchup.
Wow.
And then the
I can
other
tell
match,
you're not a professional player yet, because most of them don't care.
no, yeah, no,
Yeah, they're just like, I don't care if my opponent's happy. It's just as long as they're
and
losing.
l-
I don't
literally
mean that in a
everyone
bad
around me
way.
was
But go ahead.
like, you gotta let it roll, like, you
Yeah,
won, that's not on you. And I was like, I know,
yeah,
but I feel bad.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I only feel bad if it's a new player. I
it
never feel,
it
yeah.
was someone younger.
Okay, well, hey, if that young one would have beat you, you would have felt even worse. So,
Probably.
yeah.
But then, which actually, this was so funny. I'm playing against him. He's playing Blurple. And he drops that card that says your opponent needs 25 lore to win the game.
Oh, Mr. Duck, Donald Duck. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sitting next to, on my right is the guy that beat me round 3. And on the left of me across the table is Corey from Maelstrom. And both of them hear the name of the card and immediately look down at our game and they're like, there's no way he just played that. Like, there's no way this card is being played. So that was, like, a really funny moment, just to kind of get that, like, group interaction, even though we're, round 4 in a pretty serious tournament. Everybody is still like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's no way that card's being played. That was a pretty cool, just a pretty cool moment of the weekend. Um, the one thing I wanted to touch on as my little rant and things that you should always do when you play in a tournament, you need to write your lore.
Yep.
Do not use D20s, do not use electronic forms. either pen and paper written or a boogie board that locks, something like that. Your lore needs to be written because when the judge gets called and you're told that your lore and your opponents don't match, you need to be able to prove why yours is correct. Always write your lore.
So
That's my PSA.
all right. I guess there was a
My lore was
discrepancy at one
correct.
point. Okay.
Yeah, there was it was a daisy. I can tell you specifically, there was a discrepancy based on how many times I quested with my daisy.
Okay.
And I knew how many times because the lore told the story, but also because I could have told you what he flipped off the top of it. But a judge was called, and that took a few minutes to then walk through, what is the sequence of events of the cards on the table? Is there anything missing from this sequence of events?
It was funny. I'll tell you this. So when I was scorekeeping, I got the time extension for your match. And I was like, my first thought was, all right, what's Sabrina done?
It wasn't me.
I was putting it in and I saw your name on it. And I go, all right, what'd she do?
Yep, just a minor lore discrepancy.
Right? So sorry about the sound for folks that are listening online. I had kind of forgot to put my microphone in front of my mouth. So don't know if anybody heard it, but yeah, we'll find out later, right? All right. So anything else about Denver Pro Play Summit that sticks out to you that you got to get off your chest, or did you get a chance to see the artists or play against Steve Warner or anything like that?
Honestly, I felt so sick by the end of day Saturday that we just left.
Okay.
Toby and I did not do well with the altitude adjustment. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
He did buy me a Winnie the Pooh Labubu from the one stand. I think they were called Weebs or Us or something like that.
Yep. My daughter, when she came in Saturday morning, and I knew it. I knew as soon as I saw that thing set up on Friday, that was going to be a problem for me. And and she walked by it, and sure enough, we spent quite a bit of time there, and she ended up getting 2 of the Disney Labubus when all was said and done.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, yeah, shout out to Anna of Pro Play Games. She actually bought one for my daughter. So I can't.
I love that.
I can't claim having paid for one of them. That's why I keep coming back to work for them, man. They're such a George and Anna are like genuinely good people, and I appreciate that about them, And so I like that their company is like mom and pop startup. It's just they just started it and they're running with it, right? And that's something that you like. I can't help but to root for them. And since I'm in a position to help out by doing what I do, I don't mind helping them. So it's pretty cool. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I do just want to throw out all of the judges that I interacted with and staff were great. I don't think that gets recognized enough, how important a nice, professional, easy to interact with judging staff is.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. And there was something else. Oh, from what I saw of the stream on Friday, I think PPG events have the best stream to watch.
Man,
I'm just going to say it. I think they have the most entertaining stream.
I was telling Color and Zen last week, because Color of course was on the broadcast team, and there were a couple moments when I got to put my headphones on and listen, while I was there, especially on Sunday. Sunday was a little bit like things were more settled, and there was some downtime as the rounds got flipped on Sunday, and so I got to put my headphones on and listen, and it's like just joy for me to like just and what I told them, the thing that I thought was unique about this team, and one of the things that I liked watching was they had a good number of different commentators, right? And to see the different combinations and to see how they would interact with one another.
And play off of each other.
Right? Yep.
Yes.
And there were some that were a little bit slower getting started, but in the end, every one of them found their groove, right? Which is really neat, right? They're honing their skills. And one thing that you should never take for granted, like especially I've learned this even doing this stream, right? When we get different people on, you cannot approach everybody the same way when you're talking to them. You know, and it goes the same with a broadcast partner, right? If you can't deal with every broadcast person and the partner in the same way. And when they're constantly flipping, I think they're learning the skills as an individual, honing those skills. Some of them already have them, to learn how to play off of somebody, that you haven't really, worked with before. It's not a lot unlike improv, like improv comedy in a way.
Yeah.
And so my hat's off to him. But go ahead. I talked. You say your piece on him. I'm sorry about
No,
that.
I just wanted to throw that out. Not to be overly critical of other streams, I find it really hard to watch streams, especially by myself. I know when Worlds was on, our friends had a bunch of people over and it was kind of like the Super Bowl for us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. But by myself, watching a stream is really hard for me. I can't keep my attention. And the PPG ones are just different.
Yeah.
I find myself entertained while I'm watching. It's just, I think that stream is really good. So that's my piece about Denver. It went on for longer than I thought. But I just definitely want to give a shout out to the judge team and the commentary team. You guys are awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'll just say this, for Orlando, Pro Play Summit Orlando's in December. Bring back the same commentators.
Yeah.
I think that this group was, I think they were really, really good. Every one of them was a joy to listen to. And, but one thing I will say is this. I'm not plugging for anybody. I'm just saying this. Bring on somebody new. Bring on some aspiring content creator or whatever. And it's not me. I'm not saying that for me. So don't think this is what this is about.
Okay, let's clarify. Neither of us want
I'm trying to be clear about this, right? There are some others that might want to do it as well too. And it's almost like, I'm not even going to say it's a proving ground or training ground, because the quality and the professionalism that comes out of this group is bar none the best there is. And they have skills that they could unload on. I'm going to call them, you see my bunny ears right here, right? The next generation. There you go. Yeah, I got a bunny and not two like this. So, but so anyways, So I think, just find somebody much like what was done with them, right? So they aspired to be commentators and they've given the opportunity and they've excelled and they've run with it. And, start mentoring, some other people. And then that actually makes you better. I find out that I learn so much in my job and in life when I take time to unload on other people. And I just have revelations myself in the midst of that a lot of times. I'd be like, oh yeah, but
yeah. I agree. But yeah, that's true. That the streaming group they have is bar none the best.
Yeah, it's good.
Keep that up.
It is good.
Don't change it too much.
No. I think just give somebody a chance, just like take somebody on and you do like one each event. So, and you maybe just let them do one match. You don't have to let them, they can come play for the weekend or something, but you pull them out of a side event or something like that or whatever, just when they have time in their schedule and just let them do one match. They kind of did that in Fort Worth when they pulled Luke in, right? He wasn't originally supposed to be on that, and they just kind of pulled him in, and it was pretty neat to see that. So, yeah, there's folks out there that I think it would be cool to let them see what they got. Now they might bomb. You just gotta be ready for that. That's just the nature of it, right?
I think that group could save somebody from bombing, if I'm being honest.
That's why I think that group should do it.
They're definitely like people that I think within that commentary group that would be perfect to have somebody newer on. That if that newer person couldn't quite keep up or carry it, the person could figure it out themselves and kind of carry it for both of them.
Yep. That's what I said. That group is that good. They're that good. They could do it. That's the only group that I think could pull that off. So, alrighty. Okay, so we want to talk about the meta tonight. We made it 25 whole minutes. Hey, 25 minutes in. It's our 25th episode. There we go. So it's an omen, right? Omen's good or bad? I don't know. We want to take a look at the meta and just kind of discuss the meta and where we're at. So we got a couple of events that are coming up, and we had a couple of big events this last weekend. Actually, a few big events this weekend. And so I think we're far enough removed now from the set having come out. People got their Dumbos. Okay. So, the first week that was kind of like, well, you didn't have to run into too many of them. Now they're out there in full force, by this time. So we can see, is it truly, as powerful as the price tag says it is. We've seen that. And so we want to take a look tonight at the meta and maybe talk a little bit about, some things to play going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up ink decks real quick. And let's start off with these latest tournament results. Here we go. I got a couple big tournaments here. One of them I wanted to take a peek at. This one I believe was played in Texas this last week, this Diet Coke Invitational. And if you look at the results of this, Blurple everywhere, just like it was before, at least at the top.
Steel made top 4.
Yeah, that's what it was. Blue steel, right? And the neat thing about this deck, now, so I've looked at this deck, right? If I tell you blue steel, what do you think this deck revolves around, or what do you think is in this deck? What do most blue steel decks go after, or have in them?
Oh, at this point, I don't even know.
So most of them, for me, what I see are allies, right? They're built around allies, right? So this one is just good old big bad creatures, right? Just ramp on up into some good creatures. I call them creatures, good characters, right? And removal, right? I always like the inclusion of Smash in decks like this. Just the additional removal, but can't be removed by Ursula. So, but I'm going to tell you something, and it's a card that is a menace to my deck, which I'll show later. And that's that Vincenzo card, man. That Joker, he comes into play, wipes out one of my creatures just about every time, and then hangs around in quest for 3, and I'm not getting rid of it. I tell you, in my deck, I'm not getting rid of it. I don't have... when you guys see my deck, you'll see why. I mean, I got ways of dealing with it, right? Yeah, when I play against this deck, I just know that card is coming, and I try to get as much lore as I can, and just leave it on the field and hope I can race them once it hits. So finish the race. But this one, a lot of Sapphire decks are playing Basil on turn 1. So very strong turn 1 play with the support. It's a 1-drop in a color that normally has not put anything outside of a popsicle down on turn 1, since the game came out. So
I find myself getting rid of that card early when I see it.
I do too.
Because that +2 becomes really dangerous really fast.
Yeah, in Blurple, it's really good because your genie all of a sudden can remove another genie.
Yep.
So it's pretty good. And it's just, Tipo hitting for 3. There's just something wrong about that. Like there's a reason Tipo's 1-2, so you don't feel bad about it being on the board after it's ramped, right? They've ramped with it, but now you turn Tipo into a menace. Come on now, that's almost not fair. But yeah, there's a reason Tipo's not 3-2. But so yeah, Akita, of course, basically letting you, filter the top couple cards of your deck and then put one in Inkwell. The big baddie Scrooge, Big Duck, who's, one of the better 4-drops in the game for a long time. It's finally getting some legitimate airtime. It moonlit a little bit in Sapphire Ruby prior to rotation. Stitch, interesting choice in here. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may draw a card and gain lore. And so this is an aggro killer. It just feeds off of aggro decks. So good old Tink, Robin Hood, Jasmine, which by the way, my daughter pulled that enchanted the other day. Woo.
That's nice.
And of course, Donald Duck for ramp and Hades, which is finally earning his name as probably the most hated villain there is. So, because I
Yes.
can't stand being across from him.
Yeah.
So it's coming,
Oof.
right? I can tell you this: every blue deck, when they have 7 ink, has this card in their hand. There's never a
Yeah,
time
I mean
it's like
it's
it's
the
coming,
new
right?
be prepared in terms of
Right.
having to play around it. Like I'm
Yep.
counting your lore because I know
Yep.
when you get there, this is getting played.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I'm counting the lore for that, and I'm counting to see if they can play or sing Under the Sea. So,
Yes. Yep.
you know, yeah. And just when you think it's Hades, you got to worry about, they're like, nah, I'm gonna put Vincenzo on the table and quest for 3 every turn after I kill your creature. So, very good deck. I really like this deck. I think it's a solid build. It puts into practice good solid deck building skills where you find the best cards and you figure out a way to weave them in and out of one another. And
Yes.
that filler in there, of course, are your ramp and your removal cards and a little bit of draw. But all in all, pretty good deck. Handles evasives pretty decently with the Robin Hood. But honestly, these characters all quest for a huge amount, and it's like they're going to deal with evasives with the removal down here, and clean up later with Robin Hood. So good job. Finished at 4th place. Barrett Emerson. I think it's good job. Another deck I wanted to look at and kind of, it's starting to creep up, and actually what I want to do is flip to this screen here real quick. So if you look at the top meta decks here, no shock that Sapphire Amethyst. What is that word? Sapphire Amethyst. Uh, it is the top deck, followed by Amethyst Steel. It's still a purple world we live in. However, creeping up in there, which we knew was coming, Emerald Sapphire, Amber Steel. I don't want to discount that. We got to have aggro, right? And there's the Sapphire Steel. So I would say, it was a 3-deck format. I think that there's enough Emerald Sapphire in there to say we're in a 4-deck format now. And I think enough folks are starting to find some decent combinations with Sapphire Steel, as you see here, that pretty soon we'll have a pretty solid 5-deck meta. Now, Blurple is still the king of the roost, so you got to come prepared to play it. That's for sure. Play against it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So let's look at this Blurple deck. So the last one. Actually, what I want to do is I want to go back to that same event. That one. Cha, whales and sails. There we go. Let's get rid of that. All right, listen. Second starter to right's at the bottom. Everybody can see that, right? So I'm going to show the rest of them here. All right, here we go. So there we are, back to our basil. God darn it. I'm telling you, it's a day. So I'm hungry too. Rafiki, which is, again, between Rafiki and Basil, that's great early game play against aggro, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, pretty solid.
Yeah, your Rafiki hitting for 5 on turn 3 is it's pretty good, I would say. It's pretty good.
Yep. Even if Tiana's turned sideways, it can take out any, with Basil's support, it can take out any 2 willpower creatures without having to pay the 3 mana, the 3 ink for it. So, won't take out Daisy, but without paying it, but we'll take out Daisy if you wanted to, or the Tiana. So as always with anything that's usually in blue, there is no turn 3 drops. We go straight into turn 4, which is, let me say this, there are no 3 ink drops. There are turn 3 plays, because they're banking on ramping, right? Dumbo, Genie, Iago. We've seen those before. Madam Mim Elephant is now making its appearance in decks, which I think is pretty cool. Card that we've had around for a couple sets now, just now kind of really getting its shine, just time to shine. TikTok. Some folks run more than one copy of it, and then Hades and Big Elsa. Monstro. Anything stand out to you in this deck, Sabrina? When you played against Purple, did any of these besides Hades truly like, I just don't want to see this card when
Bell.
I'm sitting across?
Bell is awful
Yeah, I
because
would
they don't
agree.
have to attack my board. They're just moving damage.
Yeah. Anytime you mess with math, it's bad juju. If your
Right. And it
opponent's
gets
messing
them
with math.
around my Snow White.
Is that your secret sauce? Did you say it?
No. That's
Okay.
pretty common.
Is it Snow White and a Amber Steel deck? I mean, I know why it's in there. That's cool.
That is not the card that is living rent free in my head right now.
Okay. All right.
I will tell you after the show.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Um,
I will say Iago, all of a sudden Iago does not feel as scary as he used to. And I
yeah,
don't know if it's the meta or if it's my realization that it's okay to just sink my strength into him to get rid of him.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's why he was scary before was he had Peter Pan to give him rush, and he would just come. I won't say he'd come out of nowhere because if you were smart, you
That's fair.
expected it, but he at least he has to hang around a turn before he's going to wreak havoc, right? So you
Yeah,
got a chance
4/6
to
with
remove
rush
him.
is scarier.
Yeah.
You're right.
And so, yeah, that's why I like Fire to Cannons. It's like, for one ink, I can just tell it bye, so, but,
Maybe that's the move.
so, yeah,
Now I'm
Fire.
thinking the gears are grinding. Can you see it in my eyes? All of a sudden I'm like, wait.
all these cards living rent free in your mind, right? Yeah, if there's a deck in chat that you want to take a peek at, please by all means just let us know. We're going to keep plowing through these and just take a look at them here. Okay, so Amethyst Steel, right?
Yeah,
So, um,
Rugaru says they've eliminated Iago from their deck. He's ink or he gets blasted immediately and they've wasted a turn.
exactly
And that's
that.
kind of
Yeah,
how I feel playing against it. I'm kind of
right.
like, "Oh, you set yourself back a turn. Okay."
Yeah, and that's
Or
what I'm
you took
saying.
one thing out of
Right.
mine and like at that point I'm not that worried.
Yeah, you'll get it back, right? He cost a lot to get rid of something, right? It's like 4 cost removal that's might hang around. You can't
Right.
see him, but it's, yeah, you roll the dice with it. But I tell you what, if you don't have a way to remove him, he is a menace. So
He's
yeah,
big. And the evasive, I mean, does make it more annoying if you don't have the spell to deal with him. He's a big presence on the board.
spell, you mean action.
That's what I meant.
I know.
Listen, you were calling them all creatures, okay?
Yeah,
You started this chaos.
I used the word mana too, so we just ignored it. I did that. So, um, yeah, I'll hypnotic your Iago and draw a card. Feels bad to who? It doesn't feel bad to me if I do it, right? Right, Drew? So, yeah, yeah. So, let's look at Amethyst Steel real quick. I'm just gonna pop one of these. Actually, let's just go back to the same tournament. They had pretty good decks in there.
That top one.
What's that?
Actually, a lot of those were that same tournament. This is the top 3 decks there were the same tournament.
Yeah, yeah. So there we go. Um, here we go. Now, I can beat this deck if I'm smart with my deck. Um, if I'm tired and not paying attention, though, it's and they're smart. There's a right way to play against certain decks, right? But this one, what bothers me the most about this deck, personally, from my deck, is Calhoun. But the rest of it, I can
Calhoun's a
deal with.
menace.
Yeah, Calhoun is a menace indeed. So I like this deck. One thing I've always liked that synergy with Genie, which gets evasive on your turn, and Dumbo. because it's almost like people don't see that you might get to draw a card if they drop Dumbo on the next turn, you know? So that can catch your opponents off guard on the lower, you know, the first few rounds. After you get up to, I say after you get up to about round 3 or 4, most people they know what to expect, right? So, uh, so yeah, so you got, if you like a deck that can go fast and get up under stuff, this one can do it. It likes to go wide. It has some control elements in it. I'm not going to say it's as aggro-y and as fast as Amber Steel aggro, but it is not as slow as Blurple. I think this is our new mid-range is what
Yeah.
this is. Now, the funny thing is in the prior meta, this was considered an aggro deck. But I think in the absence of mid-range, this is our guy, right?
I think you play this deck a lot differently than you used to. Like the move, there used to be more draw in this deck. Well, there used to be more draw power in the meta, period. We can just start there. But this deck used to run friends. So when it ran friends, you had the luxury of like dumping your Cobra on 3, discarding your hand, and then turn 5 or turn 4 playing something like a dock, refilling your hand a little bit, and you still had the potential to draw power for more draw power to keep your hand full.
Mm-hmm.
Where now I see Cobra get played quite frequently where you're not discarding for the lore.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit recently too. So
And I think it's just a lack of draw power. And yes, I know you have Dumbo and Genie that have draw power. I understand. But it's still slower than a Friends than you could sing on 3.
yeah,
Um,
Friends spoiled
it's a
us.
lot different. Or sing on 4.
That was a card I was surprised they didn't reprint because I felt like that was a card that really embodied the color, right?
I was
You know?
shocked.
Yeah,
I thought for sure that was getting reprinted.
yeah. I got one of my 2 Emerald cards. You know, of course, you know I want to ring the bell, but oh yeah, I forgot.
Maybe next set.
Yeah, what did I do with it? Thinking. I'll find it later. Anyways, so yeah, good deck. I think it's pretty solid. You know, any cards in this deck that stand out to you that people need to watch out for that they normally wouldn't?
The important thing that I think is to remember, that wasn't a sentence. The thing that I think is important to remember with this deck specifically is that even without GOAT, this deck can cheat out lore.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I think that it is easy to forget that now when GOAT isn't in the meta. But White Rose can sneak out 1 and Cobra can sneak out 2. So you are not safe if your opponent is at 17 or 18 or 19. And I just think that, you know, that's important to remember when you're playing against this deck, that you have to account for those cards that are going to enter with a splash.
So this reminds me, I'm trying to find something real quick. Hold on. Forgive the mess and the noise. Carry on. So I'm at my desk. I had to find something for oh, I had to find it later. I thought I had it. I had a card I had to show you since we were talking about it. Oh well. I reorganized my stuff, and guess what? It's not organized in my mind anymore. I had an organization.
That's the worst.
System, right? I should have just left stuff strode out and messy everywhere. So, oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to digress for a moment. I know y'all are here for the meta, but this was I just got to show it. Did you see that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you see that?
You told me about it, but I hadn't actually gotten to see it. That's beautiful.
So it's my favorite card, as everybody knows, right? The artist was with us in Denver, and he did a little doodle of Basil's magnifying glass for me on there. So
that's really cool.
So, man, shout out to Brian Wise. And he was a great person too. He and Kendall Hale, who was the other artist there, both were great. So yeah, but that's my treasure card. So nobody will ever get that from me. All right. So let's go back. So we talked about two decks right now. So let's talk about, and this one's your deck, right? Amber Steel. So let's
Yeah.
go back and we'll hit that one too. Let's see if one of those. So this tournament didn't really have an Amber Steel that made it up there. Made one of the top 16. Let's go and find. Ooh, that's not it. Nope. Amber Steel. Amber Steel aggro. And what's that? Let's just pick this one out. Alrighty. So here's a typical Amber Steel aggro deck. There's some things that fluctuate in them.
Very different from my list.
Yeah, I see there's two predominant lists that I see. The one with Aurora and Tiana is one. So this one I almost welcome the Aurora on turn one. Like I'm like, phew, all right. I know it's coming on turn two, and I know I'm gonna kill that Aurora when they turn it sideways. They're gonna get one shot with her, you know, and they better make it a good one. But it's the key play that most folks try to do is Aurora turn one, which leads into Tiana on turn two, and what a minute Tiana can be in the early game because you don't have anything with 7 willpower or the 3 ink to pay, with something with 4.
Yeah. Well, and if
So
you can pop out 2 Tianas,
yeah,
if you can drop one on 2 and then another on
right.
3,
Yep. Even worse. So
yeah, it's not a fun day for your
no,
opponent.
it's not. You better hope you can beat them. You better hope you can race them. So, which is what I do with the deck that I play. I figure out the best way to beat this deck is just to be faster. So, but anyways, yeah, I love Mulan. Actually, I am
Yes.
really like Mulan. I always play Mulan. The only time I will ever ink Mulan ever is when I look at my hand and I got a bunch of uninkables and my only choice is to ink Mulan. So, and even then, most of the time I'm tempted to go ahead and play her and hope I get an ink and filter away an uninkable. But usually, like with what I play, I'm looking for certain pieces or certain cards depending on my matchup, and she just helps me kind of scoot through that. And the same can be said in this deck with her as well too. Typical draw power with Doc. In fact, this deck, what it banks on, and I said this to somebody the other day. I rarely play this deck that does not go lady, drop something, and then on the next turn ink and play Doc. It just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like whenever you play lady, it seems like she just extracts a Doc out of the deck for whoever I'm playing against. Somehow it just magically shows up. So but that's it for card draw, right? So what this deck banks on is just being fast, you not being able to remove its fast lore, and the lack of card draw is compensated for by the inability for you to really get to its characters because of Tiana and deal with them.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And then so many of the cards questing for 2 is also a big thing. Like Penny being able to remove damage and give something resist and questing for 2, even if it only lives for a turn, it's basically like a spell on a body. I'm sorry, an action on a body.
I let it go that time.
Um but yeah, I really like this color combo. This is not the build of my preference. But I
Is
do
your
really
deck on
like this color
Dreamboard?
combo. Should be, yeah. I
Oh,
registered it for the event.
oh, well, hold on. Let's just go find it. Oh, it's in
I
Inkjet,
don't
right?
run rhinos
I didn't think you did. So let's
or
go look.
troops.
Let's see where we at. Pro Play Summit down. What day did that take place on? The 15th.
But that's a great question.
There it is.
The
Bam.
10th? What was that? 13th. That was kind of close.
Um, hold on. I could cheat.
You can cheat.
I could cheat. I can log into the event, find your deck. You know what place you finished? Can you search this thing? I can search it in admin
I did
mode.
not finish well. That's
Oh,
for
there it
sure.
is. What was your ink deck's name? Not your play hub
Uh,
name, but your
I
ink
think
deck's.
it should be my real name, or no, I think it's DeBeanster actually.
There it is. Let's pull it up. Bam. Let's see what Sabrina is playing. Am I giving away anything for Bologna? Let me close it. Don't look at the screen, people.
I mean, I don't. It's public info, so I don't think so. There will be tweaks made before it gets played again.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we got typical tip. Yep. Oh, that little. I remember Jake saying, I probably need a 04 body just at the lower spot. The bodyguard, nice. Nala. Do not, folks, underestimate an 04 bodyguard with an aggro deck. Just don't.
Absolutely not. And don't
Don't.
underestimate a Nala.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me finish your deck. All right. Bolt. Ooh. That's right. He comes into play exerted though. So I get a chance. I get a chance to lose him if I need to. All right. Let's see. Lady, Pete, John Silver can't challenge. Tiana, Pluto. There's your Snow White. Fire the cannons. I won't give in. What is it? You should have pulled this card out on me for our, what does this card do challenge? Because I got to look at it to see. Return a character card with 2 or less from your discard to your hand. Oh yeah, get that dock back, right? So.
Yep, most of my deck. Get most
Yep.
of my deck back.
Most of your deck back, but that dock draws 2. So, and then strength, yeah. So you started off 4-1 and then you took a dive after that, right? 0-2.
Yeah, round 5 I just had bad draw, or round 6 I had bad draws, and then round 7, I was 1-1 against Dugan, and in our game 3, I'm pretty sure I was at like 14 or 15. Like I had gotten some lore, and I drew into a string of Jim Deers and the Princes, like 4 in a row, and they just nothing I was doing was keeping them alive. So that was a rough loss.
Well, I would say you deserve it for playing Amber Steel, but I root for you now. So, right.
I know. I keep telling everybody, I'm like, my podcast co-host is gonna fire me.
Yeah. I won't do that to you. I'll just accept it for what it is. So, all right. Let's see. Our last deck we want to look at is the Sapphire
Baja Blast.
Baja Blast. Yep. So, yeah. Let's see. We should just go back to the same tournament, right? Coke Invitational Part 2. Oh, wrong one. Was that? Yeah, that was the right one. Part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blue Milk. Let's see what they have in their version. Yep, that's typical. Clarabelle, Tipo, Clarabelle. Okay. Some folks run Bobby Zimmerman. Donald, which is the secret to this deck, which most folks don't realize. Scrooge McDuck. Okay. Donald Duck. John Silver, Basil, Clarabelle, Hades. These are must-haves. I'm surprised there's only 2 John Silvers and 1 Hades.
Surprised there's only 1 Hades.
Dang. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a very interesting build.
Yep. So, develop your brain, sell the odds I see, typical stuff, vision of future, but they're running bend to my will, which I've seen some folks run anywhere from 0 to 4 copies of that card. It just depends on your philosophy, how much you really hate your opponent having cards in their hand. Mother Knows Best. That's not typical of those decks, but hey, they finished in top 4 with this, or they finished in the top 8 with this, right? Yep. You're welcome. Typical, and then the heads held high and under the sea combo. and stop chaos in its tracks. So most of the cards here are typical of Baja Blast builds in some way or another. There is no Baymax here. That should be noted. That was a popular inclusion in a lot of decks, and actually what I see a lot of online right now.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
so
The
yeah,
one Hades is really throwing me though. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah, same here. So interesting. Like they got a lot of faith. Maybe they're banking on that stop chaos in its tracks, returning it back several times, right?
And having 3 Mother Knows Bests and only 3 You're Welcomes
Yeah.
seems interesting.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. So this deck, to me, is the new Ruby Sapphire. Basically, it's gonna ramp up into its late game, and it's Clarabelle will draw you a lot of cards. I mean, folks know about this by now. Some of the things that you just got when you're playing against the deck, it's don't underestimate that Tipo being on the board. You know, because anything that can help Sing Under the Sea is going to be the bread and butter of this deck. So yeah. But this is what folks, a lot of folks playing this. I'm glad to see Clarabelle have her moment in the sun. I was way back in
Yeah.
Toronto. I was on her, and you know, just glad to see she's getting a chance to shine. So those are the 4 main decks in the meta. We already talked about Blue Steel a little bit popping in. We talked about Blurple. One deck that I've been playing, and I'll just show this real quick. I know we're kind of running out of time. Um, I'm a Green Steel Comicron fan right now. Um, yeah, this deck is meant to just get up under people, get under their skin too. And so
I
uh,
think it could do that. That's for
it,
sure.
it will. It's I tell you what, when you said Nala, the other day I was playing, and I dropped a Merfolk, a Nala, another Nala, and played Fire to Cannons and got rid of a hook or something that somebody was playing. Dropped another Nala, didn't quest with any of them, right? And then right before they were going to play their Elsa, I went ahead, dropped my Chromicon, I turned them all sideways. And so I was at 10 lore, or excuse me, 11 lore. And then when I dropped the Chromicon, it was turn 5 for me. And then I also dropped my O4 bodyguard with it too. And it was just like, there you go. Now I don't always get that, so I have to have other cards to do it. But also I've been running the Seven Dwarves Mine in there with it because I have Happy, the bodyguard, and Doc, and that
Sure.
helps. It's a distraction sometimes. They just drop it and let people just waste their resources running into it. But if
Yep.
they let it live, I can wreak havoc with those knights moving in and out of it. Yeah, it's pretty. I've had some success. I've made it up to high elo with it and Lorcanito. So
Okay.
so it's pretty good. Anyways, I just throwing this out there for folks to have some fun with, just enjoy it. So I get to play Chromicon and Curse Merfolk, and I said this a while back when this meta came over. I think the 3 most powerful cards in this meta were Doc, uh, Strength of Rage and Fire, and the Emerald Chromicon. And so I was like, well, no reason why I can't try to make those 3 work in the same deck. And so
Yeah.
so
Doc is
that's
so good.
yeah, and especially with Chromicon just bouncing your own dock back to draw cards again. Like most of the time, I think it's funny. People will quest with all their stuff and just attack with one character because they're like, oh, he's going to bounce my stuff back. And I'm like, nah, I'm bounce my own dock back so I can draw more cards and flood the
Right.
board with even more. So, it's yeah. So it's a fun deck to play. But anyways, yeah, maybe somebody will steal it and run away with it in Milwaukee. Oh, we'll see.
That'd be cool.
So I'm claiming it now, this build anyways. You can see it, right? So, anyways, so yeah, all right. So we're kind of up against our time block, but Sabrina, I got my card for you tonight. So hold on.
Oh boy, let's see it.
Let me know when you can see it on the screen there.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. I have
All
no idea
right.
what any of these Baymax cards do.
What's that?
I don't know what any of the cards from the Baymax movie do, to be honest with you.
Oh man. Okay. So
Except
this
Go-Go.
is Tadashi Hamada, gifted roboticist. I said that word. Yay. He's a 2/2, 3-cost uninkable. He is a rare. Comes from set 6. Sabrina, do you know what this does?
I don't. Does he like give something resist or something? It looks like he fixes things. I feel like if he fixes things, he gives them resist. I don't know. I'm guessing here. Context clues.
You know what? That's a good guess at the artwork, but not what the card does.
Okay, I tried.
He quests for 2, which should not be taken for granted, right? I think that's what makes the other ability so good. His other ability, someone has to help. During an opponent's turn, when this character is banished, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down. Then you put this card in your inkwell face down. So,
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa, I've been messing around and I ran across him and I across him, not across. I feel like I'm a kid again. Basically, in an aggro deck, just let him go and dare your opponent to and it doesn't have to be aggro, right? It's like if you're in a blue deck, Sapphire deck that's gaining lore, you just keep turning this guy sideways. And they don't want to deal with it. That's fine. That's okay with me. I'm still gaining 2 lore out of him every turn. And they'll eventually go, I got to get rid of this guy. And you get 2 ink in your inkwell for it. So,
Seems good. Seems good.
Yep. Not saying he's being a championship deck anytime soon, but should not be underestimated. I think it's an ability we've overlooked. And I think there's a over reliance because they're good on turn 2 ramp with Sapphire decks. And they never have
Agreed.
3 drops. Why not? There might be something else you could do on turn 2. So, but anyways, just some thought, just thinking outside the box, right? Alrighty. Let's see. One more thing we got to do. Let's give a shout out to Matified. So, Craig and the gang over at matified.com. If you have not seen his playmats, by the way, we did not get rid of the playmat. We did not give away the playmat in Denver. So, somebody's going to keep it. I might just send it to you guys, Sabrina. You can give it away up there somewhere. None of our people listening want it. Then we'll give it to somebody. Find some kid.
We got to figure something else out for it.
Yep. All right. Any parting shots?
No. I have one more episode before I leave for Bologna, so we got to make next week count.
That's right, and that's what we're going to talk about next week. Prep for Bologna. This is what I need to see right next week. You got to have your Italian travel guide book, right? You got to have your deck list. All right. You got to have your Duolingo Italian, how to speak Italian. You got to learn Italian before then and there, right? So you got to be ready. We know that this is more than Lorcana when you get to go overseas, right? So
yeah. We'll be gone for almost 3 weeks, so
I hope you guys have a great time. Trip. I know you will. So I can't wait to hear about it when you get back. Take plenty of pictures and we'll throw them up here. And, by the time you get back, we'll be in Milwaukee probably. And we can do some recounting of both events. So.
It'll be a busy month to catch up on, that's for sure.
Yep. All right. So next week we'll be here, same time, same bat channel. Thank you all for joining us again. Please hit that subscribe button. By the way, we're only 10 away from 100 subscribers on Twitch. So I think that's a pretty good accomplishment for us. I'm proud of it. I'm still having fun doing this. The numbers, I'm going to say they don't mean much to me, but it is fun to watch them go up. So, it's like, hey, people actually listen to us. So, but anyways, happy questing, everybody. And we'll see you all next week.
See you next week.